It's pretty rare for me to buy a brand new game the second it comes out, because usually I like to wait for some reviews to come in, and also I don't like dropping $70 on a game when it's going to be cheaper in a few months. So it's really hard for me to choose the best game of the year because most of the games I play that year aren't from that current year. I have a pretty big backlog of video games that I've just acquired through sales or birthday or Christmas gifts, and I usually just pick one of those games when I complete another game. So with all that being said, today I'm going to share with you a list of games that I played in 2023, which I realize is not as catchy as a title as something like Raid Shadow Legends presents the ultimate best list of games from 2023 definitive version with Knuckles. I'm pretty sure like every other content creator is already making lists about their best game of 2023, so they probably got you covered if you're looking for a specific game from this year. Also, this is not every single game I played this year. These are just some of the games that stand out to me when I was reflecting on my year as an epic Fortnite gamer. So without further ado, let's giddy up, partner.
What exactly is the internet?
Now I know what you're thinking. Didn't Pikmin 4 come out this year? Why didn't you just play that one instead? Because I haven't played Pikmin 3 yet, duh. I gotta get caught up on all that hot Pikmin lore. Who knows what these little fellas could be up to between Pikmin 2 and 4? Yellow Pikmin could have died in Miami for all I know. And you think I want to miss out on that? Pikmin 3 Deluxe came out on the Nintendo Switch in 2020, but it was originally released as a Wii U title in 2013. So only like 10 years late. So, not that bad for me. Now, I know this is controversial, but I actually hadn't played the first Pikmin games until 2020. Yeah, I know, fake gamer alert, keep booing, I don't care, I've heard it 1,000 times before. The first two games I absolutely loved, so when I got that itch to play some Pikmin again, and while Nintendo was shoving advertisements for Pikmin 4 down my throat, I decided it was time to hop into Pikmin 3. The first two Pikmin games are fairly short, and Pikmin 3 is no different. It took me about 8 to 10 hours to beat the entire story. The gameplay is interesting and unique enough to keep you playing without it feeling too repetitive. The humor, which is some of my favorite parts of the first two Pikmin games, is very similar in this one. However, one thing I was missing from Pikmin 3 that the other Pikmin games had was the treasures. In Pikmin 2, for example, you can find a wide range of dumb treasures like a thing of chapstick or even a rubber duck. And they always have wacky names for these items, so it's just fun to collect them. However, in the Pikmin 3 story mode, the main treasures that you're looking for are fruits, which is needed to keep the three main characters alive. Now, don't get me wrong, the fruit names and their descriptions are funny, but once you have found them all, it's less and less exciting when you see them out in the wild. In the other Pikmin games, I love taking the time to go out and find those extra treasures, just for those fun and wacky names. But in Pikmin 3, that whole thing gets kind of repetitive. However, I did really love the concept of being able to switch between three main characters because it allows you to get a lot more done in a single day. This game also introduced two new Pikmin, the Rock Pikmin and the Winged Pikmin. The Rock Pikmin is a thick little dude who can crush crystals that are in your way, and they deal a whole lot more damage. I love the Rock Pikmin. I want a bumper sticker that says, honk if you got a crush on the Rock Pikmin. The Winged Pikmin, though, is mid. The Winged Pikmin are cool because they can fly over bodies of water to get things that you need, but they're also weak AF. So when I had to fight stronger enemies, I only usually brought a couple of those nerds with me. Overall, Pikmin 3 is a great game and it hits all those notes you would want from a Pikmin game. But if I had to replay a Pikmin game, I'm still probably going to go back to Pikmin 2, which is my favorite because I'm off script now, so I don't remember why I like that one. I just remember it being the coolest one. Okay, I'm running next. The thing about me is I love a good simulation game. There's something in my little ADHD brain that loves just fiddling with something for hours on end, only to make it slightly better. I feel like I would thrive with a bonsai tree. That just feels like my jam. Anyway, my favorite simulation game that I played this year was 2 Point Campus, which is a game where you design your own ding-dang college. You're gonna feel the true power of forcing an 18-year-old to spend thousands of dollars to study in such courses as general knowledge. This game is from the same creators as 2 Point Hospital, which is a spiritual successor to Theme Hospital, which is a game I'd always watch my older brother play, and even though at the time I had no clue what was going on, it was fun to watch those little dudes get up to some truly wild antics. 2 Point Campus gives you 3 sets of challenges per campus, and you have to build out the campus to complete all those challenges in order to open up the next campus to build. The humor and style of this game is very on brand for me. There's a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor in this game, and while I was playing it, I was constantly laughing. I specifically really like how night school is literally school for like medieval knights. The challenges are all very unique, and the farther you get in the game, the more complex those challenges get, which then forces you to have to use knowledge from the previous challenges in order to complete new ones. And it just kind of builds on top of each other, kind of like how you're building a campus. Building a school may not seem like a really fun type of game, but there's so much you gotta focus on while your little homies are in their virtual classes. Are they hungry? Are they bored? Are there enough activities on campus for them to do? Is there enough beds crammed into one small room so they can sleep and stuff? And even if you got all that taken care of, you gotta also worry about your little employees and what's going on in their lives. It's a really fun management game that makes you feel like you have a lot to do, but it never becomes overwhelming to the point where it's not fun. If you're a simulation game type lad and you haven't picked this one up, I'd really recommend it. I was a little worried because I was playing this on a PS5 and not on a computer, and I thought the gameplay and menu system might be a little awkward, but the developers behind the game really knocked it out of the park with this one. It's really easy to navigate menus, build items, and quick access challenge markers from the PS5 controller. Except, using the on-screen keyboard is never fun, but no game developers can ever get that right. I grew up playing 3D platformers. Games like Super Mario Sunshine, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom were some of my first console memories. So I always have a special little place in my little gamer heart for 3D platformers, which is why I absolutely adored A Hat in Time. A Hat in Time is a platform adventure game where you control the nameless Hat Kid, a young girl with a hat that grants her magical abilities. She travels across various worlds to collect timepieces to power her spaceship so she can return home. I don't even know where to start with this game. Maybe the soundtrack? Sure. The soundtrack is how you say perfection. It has that perfect 3D platformer nostalgia feel, but also with a modern twist. And you know your boy's gonna love a theme song if it's got a theremin in it. I'm not gonna play the song because of copyright issues, but go look it up because it is so rad that it perhaps even rocks. Which one is it? Every world I explored, I caught myself bobbing along to the soundtrack, and then later in that day, I'd catch myself humming that tune. It was good tunes all around. When a game has a good soundtrack, it just elevates that gaming experience to a whole new level. That's why I think those 3D platformers that I mentioned earlier stick out so much to me in my brain. All got banging soundtracks, even if one of them is just SpongeBob music. A Hat in Time is no different. Whenever I see this game up on my PlayStation profile, my first thought is, dang, what a great soundtrack. Okay, fine, we'll talk about the actual gameplay, I guess. Like I said, you play as Hat Kid who has a magical hat, and you're jumping from world to world to retrieve timepieces, which are just hourglasses. This game is everything you want a 3D platformer to be. A game where you get so familiar with the controls that you're able to just jump and slide and swing around the level so quickly, and it just feels so good. But like any good 3D platformer, there's got to be at least one point where your hands are just dripping with sweat because you're trying to finesse your way through a level. For me, it was this one level where you had to climb to the top of this windmill, and dear Lord, it just kept going. It was so ridiculous and fun, but when I finally got to the top of that windmill, I let out the biggest sigh of relief. If you're a fan of 3D platformers, this is a must. If I had the power to somehow zap my brain so I could forget about this game and that third grade experience, then I would, and I would just replay this game over and over again. I did not expect this game to be on my list of games that I played this year, but I am so glad it is. One of my good friends kept making jokes about this game series called Yakuza 0, and the next thing I know, I've downloaded the game and started it, and wow, it's good. Yakuza 0 is the first game in the series, timeline-wise. Unless it isn't. Please don't come for me, Yakuza fans. If it's not, this is literally the first game I've ever played in the series. Just politely correct me, please. Don't be mean. Not again. If you're unfamiliar with Yakuza 0, it is an action-adventure video game that serves as a prequel to the other games in the series. It takes place between two protagonists as they uncover conspiracies, engage in intense and ridiculous combat, and they build their paths to become formidable figures in the Japanese criminal underworld. The gameplay for this game is pretty much just punching dudes left and right, and even though that looks simple, it is so much fun to do. And the more you play the game, the more combos you figure out, and it just makes the combat even more fun. And I gotta talk about the minigames, but I can't talk about all the minigames because this video might get flagged. In short, there are tons of minigames in Yakuza 0, and they are all fun and equally wild in their own right. My favorite has to be the karaoke minigame, because it's fun to watch this karaoke bar scene turn into like a full epic music video. It makes me laugh every time. There are some minigames that help you complete sub-stories, or maybe even help you with that cash flow, so it doesn't really feel like they were just cramming in minigames for the heck of it. When you're doing the main storyline, it really feels like a true crime drama that's set in Japan. But the game doesn't take itself that seriously, because when you're doing all the side quests, they're all just wild and wacky and usually conclude with some dumb ending. I love a game that's just goof central sometimes, but then super serious other times. It's just so fun. At the time of this recording, I haven't beat Yakuza 0 yet, so please no spoilers, but I have like maybe 1 or 2 chapters left, so I'm pretty close to the end there. It has definitely opened my eyes to all the other games in the series, and I will be playing through all of them because I'm a Yakuza boy now. That's just a part of who I am. Okay, obviously everyone's going to be talking about this game as Game of the Year, so I might as well do that too. I think Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was the only game that I bought this year on release date and then immediately played. And of course it's amazing. I'm not going to say anything that hasn't been said 1,000 times already. I will be honest though, when they announced this game, like 40 years ago it feels like, I was a little worried because it originally got delayed, which had me quaking in my boots. And then I started thinking, oh no, can Nintendo really pull off lightning in the bottle twice? Can they really make Breath of the Wild 2 be just as good as Breath of the Wild, but still make it like fun and fresh and new? And yeah, that's exactly what they did. But boy oh howdy, I was so glad to be wrong about that. Nintendo was able to take everything from Breath of the Wild that made it fun and new and interesting and just cranked up the dials all a little bit to make it feel like a whole new, brand new, wacky new experience, and I was there for it. Being able to build things with just objects around the world was just so much fun, and I just had a blast. I don't know what you want me to say. It's dope, yo. It's so dope. It was just really great to explore Hyrule again, and really just take my time and explore as much as possible. Now, of course, there are rumors that Nintendo is going to be releasing a new console in 2024, so this makes me wonder if Tears of the Kingdom will be the final chapter in the open Legend of Zelda games. I really hope not, but who knows? Nintendo has a track history of not just doing what the fans want. Honestly, I just really hope we get even bigger and better open world Zelda game, but I'm trying to just remain calm because who the flip knows. Regardless, Tears of the Kingdom takes up a huge chunk of my 2023 gaming calendar because that's like all I played for most of the summer. And when I think about Tears of the Kingdom, I'll think about those hot summer nights where I was just crammed in this dark, cold room, just focusing on some saving of Hyrule, kicking Ganondorf's little booty for like the 18th time. When will this guy learn that his actions have consequences? Thanks so much for watching this video. Please let me know your favorite games of the year down in the comments below so that I can add them to my backlog and eventually play them. In like 2065, I think, is when I can finally get to the end of my backlog. Before we head out, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button down below and maybe even consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this in the future. And as always, have fun, good luck, and keep shredding the gnar.